4 with 30 minutes in the books. And the big question, can the Dragons keep it up with half the roster size of the Quakers?
I'll tell you, John, that's going to be the key in my estimation here in the second half of this game. When you've got 40 players on one side as opposed to 22 on the other, the natural tendency is you're going to slow down a little bit. You're not going to have that oomph. But I think the fact that these two schools, even though that they are a little bit different as far as they're not members of the Big Five with the basketball and some of the other situations that are involved in the sports in Philadelphia, I think these two teams are just close enough because of where the geographical location is for this game really to come out in the second half of both teams that go at each other very hard. Drexel's found themselves down a pair of goals, and because of the fact they give up goals and it seems large clumps, you almost say, well, the well's going to cave in on them now. But they came back and scored 2 goals late in the first halves, and scoring one in the last minute of the half to tie it. That's a brand new game, essentially. You played 30 minutes and decided absolutely nothing. In the third period now, they switch sides once again. And if you're wondering about the sun, again, will have no bearing because the sun's in our eyes is what the bearing is. The sun running one way and the players running the other.
Gelbart and Kava on the draw. Ball squirts free and picked up by Brandon Bates. Drexel in the white uniforms is moving from left to right in this quarter. Eric Fink, who's got a couple of goals behind the Pennsylvania net, loses the ball, now scoops it up and controls, and gets it back to Tony Souza as the Dragons set things up.
You look at another factor, perhaps because Pennsylvania plays in the Ivy League. The Ivy League is so tough. Maybe the fact that toughness of the schedule might help Pennsylvania in a game like this.
Bates with a good shot bouncing in on Bassford, and he had to make the save, scramble in front. And away with it come the Quakers. Long lead pass ahead for Tyler Hale. He goes behind the net to CC and Lagator. Out front, the scramble, and Crofton never really got a shot off. Saved it in, but right to Tui, go Drexel.
Yeah, Lagator got a real good pass to Crofton, but he just was not able to get his cross on that and control that ball. Otherwise, that would have been very dangerous for Jed Salter.
Souza takes a couple of whacks from Alex Goodman. Now gives the ball up to Hinkland behind the net for, that is Matt Plank. Souza out high. Spins on Goodman. Tried to get the pass to number 5, Brandreth, but it hit Brandreth in the helmet. Brandreth tracks it down now, flips to Plank. Plank behind the net as the Dragons controlling things here in the opening minutes of the third quarter. Shot from a tough angle, and it's in!
Boy, that just snaked by. How that ever did by Matt Plank as he turned that corner hard on the right side, beat the long stick defenseman, and was able to just put it, appeared on the very short side of Bassford. Let's get a closer look here. There's the goal scorer you see there, Matt Plank, number 12. Now that ball comes around the corner. John, that did beat him on the short side.
Wasn't quite right on the post. You've got to have that leg on the post. And somehow Plank squeezes it through for his 10th goal of the season and his 2nd of the day. And Drexel is back on top at 5-4, and Kava controls the faceoff.
Matt Plank, the young man from Verona, New Jersey. Boy, he had very little opportunity.
Souza in front, guns it home, and it's a 2-goal Dragon lead.
Well, I'll tell you, the Dragons have come out with a pair of goals here in the first minute and 47 seconds as Souza was left open. Look at this, all the room he has to score.
You see the Penn defender, it slipped, and that's what left Souza wide open as he guns in his 13th of the season.
We talk about taking advantage of an opportunity. He was found himself wide open, made no mistake on the shot, and Drexel in the first 2 minutes of this second half or third quarter have now come up with a 2-goal lead at 6-4.
Gelbart controls it, flips backhanded for number 18, Victor Sue. Sue has not seen the ball a whole lot today. Behind the net now, Tyler Hale for Pennsylvania. Quakers in a 2-goal hole. It was early here in the third. Now they set it up with Vern Briggs out high. Briggs has been silent today.
For Pennsylvania, I think maybe to substitute a little more here in this third quarter and try to wear down the Dragons even more.
Tyler Hale. Hale working on Romeo. Backing in.
The corner, though.
Flips it far side, bounced in on Salter, and Salter made the stop.
Yeah, Romeo did a nice job defensively there. Didn't let that Quaker player get around that corner and get the clear shot at his goalkeeper, Salter.
Cava moves by Ryan Taylor. A nice move by Jason Cava. Cava has no one in front of him, but pulls it up, throws it behind for Fink Souza in front again, and that shot was blocked by Tony Phillips.
Tony Phillips getting that long stick in there, and we told you earlier, 4 long sticks out of the field. Those sticks, 52 to 72 inches long, where the short ones are only 40 to 42. And watch here where Phillips, number 2, will get that long stick out in front and is able to clear it away.
Souza with the ball on the far sideline, trying to spin by Tony Phillips.
Was using that long stick to his advantage.
Keeping it in Souza's face. Cross checks him to the ground, but Souza, a good job to get it to Brandreth. Gets the return, and that was knocked down by the Penn defender. Phillips in there with that long stick, and Ryan Taylor comes out with it for the Quakers, speeding up the field. Taylor right down the middle, shot, and a good save by Salters.
And we have a penalty behind the play, as a pair of penalty flags have been dropped, one on this side of the midfield line and one on the other.
Taylor showing his speed at 6'5", down the field very quickly. Salter had to get down low to make that stop.
Maybe a holding call, and it's going to go against Drexel's number 24, Jason Cava, and he will be boxed for a minute. And this will give Pennsylvania an opportunity, perhaps on this extra man advantage, to creep back within 1. They trail it by a pair, 6-4. Just under 12 minutes to play in the third quarter from Drexel Field.
Big power play here for the Quakers.
Sure is, John.
Behind the net, Crofton, they swing it. Back out high now, Taylor's got it, flips for Briggs. Briggs for Goodman, now back to Crofton. Crofton trying to make something happen. Players cut towards the net, nobody's open. The pass in front comes to McLean. McLean's shot was on goal, but Salter made a pretty good stop.
Hey, McLean got all that 5'11", 180 pounds behind that shot, and Salter doing it again, turning aside a Pennsylvania scoring thrust.
Tewey knocked to the turf by Vern Briggs. And the push is called against Briggs with 11:06 to go in the third quarter and 26 seconds to go on the Pennsylvania power play.
Dragons here front by 2. Oh, there's a mistake that came from the corner by Matt Tewey that almost bounced off goalkeeper Salter's stick and into the net.
And that one did bounce into the net. The Dragons disorganized and the ball ends up in the net, and Salter can't believe it.
It appeared that Jason McLean, who picked off that shot, fires it in. It is now 6'5", and I believe that
Salter's got a problem with his netting, it appears, and maybe there's a hole in it. Not sure if that's the problem, but he's punching at that net. As a gift goal for the Quakers gets them to within 1 at 6-5, and the training staff for the Dragons races over to the physical education building to try and find a way to repair that. They take another look at it. A timeout on the field now, as Jet Salter's stick is not in working order, and it leads to a Quaker goal. What a break for Penn.
That's assistant coach John Wallace there, who was trying to make some of those repairs, and the trainer now went over and got another stick. They're now coming out with it. You'll see him coming into your picture momentarily. Nice look again at the Philadelphia skyline on this marvelous, marvelous spring day.
Well, the Quakers can't get anything going for themselves, but the Dragons give a goal away right here.
Well, I'll tell you, that's why sometimes games, you can never sit down and handicap any kind of a game, because mistakes crop up during the course of the game, as it did there, and something like that could turn a game completely around. 10 minutes and 57 seconds left here in the third quarter, and the Dragons' lead now has been shaved to a single goal at 6-5.
It would appear that one of the Pennsylvania shots, they've been firing some pretty hard shots at Salter, and I would assume that one of those ripped the netting on Salter's stick.
Very possibly. Well, whatever it is, they've got it under control, and Salter heads back, and unfortunately now has to protect a 1-goal lead as opposed to a 2-goal lead.
Gelbard and Cava to take the face-off. Pennsylvania back to within 1 on a gift. controlled by Gelbard. He can't pick up the ground ball.
Drexel showed resiliency here today. Let's see if they can snap back from this.
Tobin picks it up for Pennsylvania.
He's been a workhorse all day out there for the red and blue.
Dan Nathan, number 20, into the game for the first time for Pennsylvania, loses it. And Tuig will bring it in for Drexel.
Tuig had that stick up a little high, and some of the fans suggesting perhaps there should have been a penalty there as that ball goes out on the side, which necessitates the subs coming in by the horn.
Tuig brings it in, Salter catches it, and so we assume his net is fixed because he held on to the ball there.
If you're wondering, there's 53 schools playing Division I lacrosse in the country.
A ball picked up by Perry.
Of the 53, 12 into the NCAA tournament, and the NCAA tournament this year will be at College Park, Maryland. And
trying to move in front, Nathan got a shot off, and Salter had to make the save there. The Salter had the top near corner ticketed. A whistle and a violation down low. The Dragons called for a hold, and so Pennsylvania will get the ball back with 10:15 to go in the third quarter. The Quakers trailing 6-5.
That hole was on Mike Romeo as he had the shooter all wrapped up. The NCAA tournament being held at the Final Four at College Park, and probably the Terps will be in that. They're ranked number 11 in the country right now, and of course last year Philadelphia was the site of the NCAA championships down at Franklin Field, won by the Princeton Tiger.
Greenberg backs it off. Greenberg having some trouble with his footing. And now the Quakers will set it up. 9:40 to go.
Field actually is in very good shape considering the snow and rain that has hit this part of the country in the last month.
Goodman goes down. Flag goes down as well. And the violation will be against Goodman.
A technical penalty, and that will be a 30-second violation.
So the Dragons will bring it in. 9:29 to go in the third, and Drexel leads it 6-5. It was a 2-goal lead until 2 minutes ago when the Dragons put one into their own net as Jed Salter's goalie cross had a rip in it, and the ball went right through it into the net.
Mike Romeo is into the box. So Pennsylvania has the man advantage and trailing by a goal.
So the penalty against Drexel and not against Pennsylvania. Taylor guns one wide.
I tell you, Taylor really used all of his physical strength to fire that one in. And he's a big guy too at 6'5", 210.
He gives it to Taylor again. He gets inside and it bounces wide of Salter, controlled by Pennsylvania. The pass out front knocked away by Joe Christie, number 3. Salter gets it ahead, but intercepted by Greenberg, and the Quakers come right back with it. Briggs. Crofton slipped as he tried to get it in front. The ball comes loose to the far side where Alex Goodman picks it up for Pennsylvania.
Crofton tried to turn that corner hard. The speed just went right out from under him, just on the side of the net. Penalty is now over.
Goodman. Working on Hinkle. The double team comes. He gives it to Greenberg. Bounces one in. Ball loose in front. Taken away by Tuig.
The last shot by Pennsylvania was knocked down by Tuig. And there's a stick up on Tuig.
Briggs got it right in his face. But Drexel stays on the move. Toby Hinkle. Drexel is on offense now for the first time in several minutes.
And Tuig is walking. He's one of the 3 players who are behind the center line, and he's got his head down. That last stick up around his neck area bothered him somewhat.
Souza gives it up for Clank. Clank's had a couple of goals here for Drexel. Fink comes in front. There's not an opening. He backs off, hands it to Clank. Clank working on Dave Arcisi. Loses the ball. Arcisi on it, has some help from Tony Phillips. And Clank comes away with it.
Pennsylvania doing a good job keeping Drexel away from the keeper.
Down goes Cobb of the ball, loose in front, scooped up by Arcisi. He loses it, taken back by Drexel. Picked up now by Eric Fink.
So Arcisi tried to move up the field. He was spun around by Jason Cobb, a good move there, and the ball goes back to the Dragons.
Brandreth controls out high, makes his move on Ryan Taylor. Brandreth bumps, still has it. Tried to go in front, now flips it to Hector. Hector's shot, picks up his own rebound. And then the ball taken away by Pennsylvania, and the loop pass for Tobin, and Tobin steaming in midfield. The drive by Crofton is stopped by Salter.
Okay, that really had some oomph behind it too, and Salter was right on it. He read that shot perfectly from the freshman attacker from Garden City, New York, Andy Crofton of the Pennsylvania Quakers. Up and down action now, John, the last couple of minutes, rather than the concentrated efforts in one team's net area.
Souza looking for an opening, thought he had Fink, but Fink stopped his cut toward the net. Now Fink has it, working on Vern Briggs. Fink goes down, loses the ball, picked up by Tony Phillips of Pennsylvania. The Quakers bring it back. Ryan Taylor.
Phillips wanted to steam down the left side, but Tony Souza gave him a hard way to go and forced Phillips to give the ball up.
Taylor flips for Crofton, and now they go behind the net and swing it to Briggs.
Like a defensive chess game right now with a 6-5 score and under 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. On a sun-splashed day from Drexel Field.
Crofton spins in front, good shot. Salter had to go off his body and right up in the air, and Jewett snatched it away and fires it ahead for number 18, Dan Gray. Back come the Dragons.
Salter really able to get a good read. He's able to see the shots coming at him, John. That means so much.
Gray has some trouble and then flipped it back to Brandon Bates, who gives it to Tony Souza out high, right at the 20-yard line. Eric Fink now working on Tony Phillips. Takes it back out to Brandon Bates. 5 minutes to go in the third. The Dragons in no big rush with a 6-5 lead. Souza, a shot that went wide. The Dragons will bring it in. Toby Hinkle was the closest to it as it went over the line.
We mentioned that the Pennsylvania Quakers will have a game on Wednesday evening with Bucknell at home. Next bit of action for Drexel will be Saturday, the 17th of April. This coming Saturday, they will take on the Lafayette Leopards here at Drexel Field. Lafayette and Drexel have been battling on the field of play in many sports for many years, and Lafayette always has a good men's lacrosse game. That could be an interesting one as well.
Souza working on Taylor. Had an opening, and then the double team came from Perry. Behind the net, Hinkle looking for somebody in front. There's nobody there. Bates made a move, but Hinkle had his back turned at that point as he tried to avoid the defender. Now Matt Plank working on Dave Arcisi. Tony Souza out high, and the Dragons will start things all over again.
Quakers doing a real good job forcing Drexel players to the outside. They're not really letting them set up for any kind of a serious shot on Bassford.
Fink in front. The drive went wide of Bassford. Off the stick of Matt Plank, who was bidding for the hat trick.
Yeah, lots of room there, but unfortunately sent it about 4 feet wide of the net, but Drexel's able to regain control of the ball.
Dan Gray with the ball for the Dragons. He's working on Dave Arcisi. Arcisi's been all over the field defensively for Pennsylvania. Nice move by Gray inside of Arcisi. Looked to pass the ball, and it was knocked down by Tobin in front, and went right to Bassford.
And he found Matt Plank was open on Bassford's right, but they just couldn't get the ball to him. Had to go through a maze of sticks and was knocked down. You see the teams changing on the fly. One in, one out.
Behind the net, Pennsylvania. Out high for Rick Curry. Curry, one of the tri-captains of the team, along with Dave Arcisi and Ryan Taylor.
Curry had a real good scoring opportunity right in the waning seconds of the first half, but was not able to make good on it.
Curry's with the ball now. Shot and a good save. I believe Salter got a piece of it. It might have been going wide.
We're down to 2:52 to go here in the third quarter, and Drexel still clinging to that lead at 6-5.
Hale's got the ball for Pennsylvania. Out high for Ryan Taylor. Not really gotten on track. He's got 1 goal so far today, but he's capable of much more. He came in with 25 goals on the season.
Maybe Crofton now is able to penetrate that Drexel defense a little bit, got free in front of the net, but they couldn't find the ball to him. Now he moves off behind the net.
This is Crofton trying to find his way out in front. The little guy gets bumped, flips it in front. Hale thought he had an opening, but then backed away from it. And he sets things up. 2:10 to go in the third quarter. Again, Drexel ahead, 6-5.
Tyler Hale trying to penetrate in the middle, and he couldn't.
Shot score! Crofton free for just a minute, and that was all they needed to tie this game up at 6. His second goal of the day.
Crofton came in from the right side from about 25 yards out, got a little steam behind the shot, moved in, was able to put it past Jed Salter, and we are now tied at 6. And this goal comes at the 2-minute and 1-second mark, and we've gone about 12 minutes without a goal here, John. There's the goal scorer you see right there. Andy Crofton from Garden City, New York.
Crofton coming off a 3-goal game against Dartmouth, and a big week that earned him Ivy League Rookie of the Week honors. Drexel right back, trying to untie this game. Plank with the ball for the Dragons.
Crofton got that big tying goal against Dartmouth last Saturday with just 15 ticks of the clock left in regulation.
Sousa lost the ball to Tony Phillips. It's picked up by Eric Fink. Fink tries to get away from the defender. Plank works it to Hinkle. Hinkle trying to come out in front. He does. Ball loose in front. Scooped up by Heckner. He's bumped and controls, and the Dragons will reset. In front, Hinkle. Steered it home. No! Great save. Another great save, Bassford. Another great save. Fink tried to roll one by, and again Bassford made the save as there was a flag down. Tremendous work on the goal by Steve Bassford.
I'll tell you, some good resiliency to come back for a second try at it was Toby Hinkle, and he was dumped. When I
How
watched
did Hinkle miss the first one? He had a wide open side of the net and couldn't steer it home.
We had too long to pull the trigger. There's the first save. There's the second one. Hinkle comes up with a third save, and then he pays for that as Tony Phillips sent him flying. And Tony Phillips is going into the box on the far side for a minute.
Penalty against Phillips, and so it'll be a power play coming up for the Dragons.
That's a penalty at that point you don't mind taking because you've got to get it cleared out somehow. And Tony Phillips did the only thing he could. He just sent Hinkle flying to the left of Bassford.
Minute 10 to go in the third. How the Dragons didn't score there, I don't know. Great work by freshman Steve Bassford. One of the best young goalies in the country, and he showed you why right there. Big. That one he can't stop. Steered home by Dan Gray, and Drexel is back in the lead on the power play goal. And if you get open in front, Eric Fink will find you for the Dragons.
Well, he did it there and pops it into the net. And the Dragons now regain the lead. There it is. Boy, I tell you, he wasted little time as he came from the far side of the field to the near side of the field. Just held on to that ball and is able to beat Steve Bassford. And the Dragons back to a 1-goal lead with 59 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Senior Dan Gray did not score at all last season. That is his 9th goal of this season. He has been a very pleasant surprise for Randy Boyd's Dragons here in '93.
Yeah, both teams playing very hard. There has not been more than a 2-goal lead either way in this game. Pennsylvania had a 2-goal lead at 4-2. The Dragons had one at 6-4.
Hinkle fumbled the ball for just a moment. Gets belted by Vic Sue. Now Hinkle brings it back. In front, Bates was open for a moment. Still with the ball. Cannot get it to Fink as RCC with a long stick was able to intercept it.
And you can see the reason for those long sticks. They really proved to be very beneficial in situations near the goal mouth like that.
Crofton will set it up behind the net. Crofton's got 2 goals so far today.
Also had Taylor steaming down the center of the field, but he was well covered in there.
Crofton trying to bows way in front, but at 5'8", 160, that's not easy for him to do. In front, and Salter comes away with it.
Brandon Bates, 22, charged with watching Taylor right now as the buzzer sounds. And John, we've had 45 minutes of great lacrosse here.
Dragons hanging on to a 1-goal lead. 15 minutes to go.
Discover the defensive training secrets of America's finest baseball school in an exciting new videotape. This is the professional instructional video that gets results. See how this group of youngsters added an amazing 6 miles per hour to their arm strength while vastly improving their running speed and defensive skills in just a few weeks of work. Baseball World's revolutionary new video features professional scout and instructor Tommy Nansky and the same defensive drills used by Baseball World's back-to-back 1990-91 AAU national championship teams. Lou Pavlovich Jr., editor of Collegiate Baseball magazine, calls it a masterpiece, the best defensive drill video ever produced. San Diego Padres Major League superstar Fred McGriff agrees.
I'm so impressed with the instructional videos by Coach Mansky that I've given him my full endorsement. When you watch them, you'll know why.
Baseball World's defensive drill video makes a great gift and benefits players of all ages and ability levels and improves coaches' practice organization. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free. 1-800-453-4500. Call now and we'll ship today.
Welcome back to Drexel Field. John Miller and John McAdams and the Dragons with a surprising 1-goal lead as we head to the fourth quarter. And Eric Vick has been a major factor for the Dragons here today with a couple of goals and a couple of neat assists.
Yeah, both teams have played exceedingly well. Drexel shorthanded as far as numbers are concerned. They have not had the problem that they've had in a number of games where they seem to give up goals in big batches through the first 45 minutes. They gave up a couple of quick goals early in the second quarter. Then before you knew it, John, at halftime they go with a 4-4 tie. And they win the draw here.
Klang looking in front, shot, score!
Boy, what a big goal as Drexel, who's had trouble with faceoffs all year, they get the ball to Eric Fink in front, and he flings it over and past Basford, and that is his third goal of the game, and the Dragons now have a 2-goal lead. And boy, 8 seconds after the opening faceoff to start the fourth quarter. What a big goal for Coach Randy Voigt's team.
Now maybe Voigt starts to think about playing a little bit of stall ball, try and play keep away whenever the Dragons have it. Certainly they won't be in a rush offensively.
Absolutely not. You've only got 1 win in your first 6 games, and you see some light at the end of the tunnel here. But I'll tell you, Drexel just seems to fall apart at some particular points in games. They had a 9-6 lead against Penn State with 3 minutes to go and ended up losing it by 12-7 score. So they can be stung. I'll tell you today, they give Pennsylvania all they can handle, and Coach Voigt has to be very, very happy with his team thus far.
Brandon Bates with the ball for the Dragons, working on Ryan Taylor. 40 seconds into the fourth quarter, the Dragons up by 2. Dan Gray is one of the goals, bounced it over the net. In front, they've got Basford turning every which way, but he finally ends up with the ball.
You know that's where it's tough, John. If you look in front of the goalkeeper's crease area there, that ground is really chewed up. We're playing on natural grass, and you talk about those strange bounces, and you get a little rut in the ground, or, you know, the keeper's feet may be planted in one area too long. You just make that ground uneven, makes it awfully difficult.
Pennsylvania controlling with Vern Briggs behind the net with the ball. Jed Salter in the Drexel net has had a fabulous game. The Dragons bid for just their second victory of the season. Nowhere to go for Goodman that time, and now he sets it up behind the net. Youngling flashed open in front for just a moment, but Goodman will work it in front himself. Gets it to Crofton, who lost it, picked it up, and backhands it home.
Oh, what a pretty play by Crofton. He beat the defender, John Costellas, and was able, as you mentioned, just backhand the ball past the keeper, Salter, and it is now a 8-7 game.
He actually loses this ball in front. Oh. But just for a split second. A hat trick now for Andy Crofton and 12 goals on the season.
Young man, just a freshman out of Garden City, New York, now with an 8-7, a very important face-off coming at center field.
13:25 to go. The Drexel lead again is down to 1 at 8-7.
Yeah, Drexel has won all 3 face-offs in this fourth quarter, John. All 3 of them.
Christie lost it to Taylor. Taylor gets it ahead for Alex Goodman, and he will go behind to E.J. Youngling, working on Costellas. Back out high to Ryan Taylor at the 20-yard line. He flips to Vern Briggs. Briggs has not scored today. Last year against Drexel, he had 4 goals. Tyler Hale flips it to Briggs. Briggs working behind the net on Toby Hinkle. Trying to move in front. Backs it off and now tips inside. Flips it behind the net to Goodman, I believe. Goodman gets it to Crofton, who tries to go behind his head again, but that time Salter was right there.
Hey, Goodman caught Crofton breaking for that net. A fine pass.
Cava back for Drexel. Clank fires one, and he had Bassford going the wrong way. But Phillips there to clean up the mess for Pennsylvania. The long lead pass intercepted by Brandreth. Brandreth flips it in front. Score! That's Fink. Fink's got 4 on the day, and it's a 2-goal lead again for the Dragons as Eric Fink found the 5-hole.
Fink also was covered very carefully there by a Pennsylvania player. There you see the goalkeeper. You'll see what he sees, and the ball just beats him to the long side and along the ground. He was not quick enough to react. There's a good look at freshman goaltender Steve Bassford out of Lutherville, Maryland. All right, back to a 2-goal lead, which has been the biggest lead that either team has been able to enjoy here today. Finally for that draw.
Gilbart and Cava.
Dragons get it again.
Bates had it. Bates has done a good job here in the 4th quarter on the draw. Is intercepted by our CC. Back comes Pennsylvania. Youngling with the ball in traffic. Has it sticked away from him by Joe Christie. Christie cannot control. Hale gets a big bump from Christie. Hale's still after it. Can't pick it up. Looked like he was on the White House lawn there for a second and for the old annual egg roll.
Yeah, Mike Tuig going off, limping just a little bit. And he's trying to walk it off. I'll tell you, for a team, Tuig now is limping in the center of the field, and see if he's going to run it off and stay in. You see him on the far right of your screen there, backing up and sort of just limping on one leg.
He's got the ball now. Gives it up to Costellas. He gives it to Brandon Bates. Bates is immediately double-teamed. They dig for the ball. Coming away with it is Dan Gray for Drexel. He's got Fink behind the net. Fink's all alone. And now Mike Tobin on Eric Fink, and the Dragons should take some clock here if they can with 11:15 to go and a 2-goal lead.
Hey, for a team that has not done well on faceoffs all year, they've won 4 of them here in the 4th quarter. And that's something else that has to put a smile on Coach Boyd's face.
Bates working on Brian Napolitano. Again, he is in no big rush. Gives it up to Clank, and they swing it behind to Hinkle, and now to Fink. Fink's got 4 goals on the day. He gives it up to Brandon Bates, who has 1.
Down to 10.5 minutes to go.
Bates finds an opening. Score!
Oh, did he ever let that ball go quickly? And he did not have much of an opening. It was given to him by Steve Bassford. He's able to beat him on the short side.
It was like the Dragons lulled the Quakers to sleep there. It looked like they were going into stall ball, and then all of a sudden, boom, he makes his move.
And for Brandon Bates, he's got 2 on the day, and this is the largest lead that either of the teams have had all afternoon. And it's now 10-7 with 10:36 remaining here, and Pennsylvania's now going to have to come strong. And, yeah, the way they're going to have to do it, John, is they're going to have to win a face-off. They're 0 for 4 on the face-offs here in this 4th quarter.
Gilbart and Bates. And this time, Gilbart comes away with the ball. Pennsylvania has possession, something they haven't had too much of here in the 4th quarter. They give it right back, though. Scramble for the ball at the 20-yard line and taken away by Christie. Christie spins away from Greenberg. Nice move by the senior Christie. Another scramble on the far side. Coming away with it is Tobin.
It just got out of bounds, and it's going to go back over to the Dragons. As you see, the teams making substitutions on the fly. Phil Perry, number 40, right in your screen there. A midfielder from Silver Spring, Maryland. Maryland, a real hotbed of lacrosse. Great high school lacrosse. And of course, college lacrosse played in that area. Probably the nation's number 1 crosses down in the Baltimore area.
Fink, who's a local kid, not from Baltimore, but he's the star of this team, and he gives it up to Toby Hinkle, another local kid from Episcopal. It's an advantage that Pennsylvania would appear to have over Drexel. If you look at the roster, they've got a lot more kids from those hotbeds of Long Island and also Maryland. Drexel much more a local team. Right now, the locals ahead of the imports, 10-7 with 9:25 to go. Plank fires a pass much too high. It'll be Pennsylvania's ball with 9:20 to go in the fourth quarter.
You know, you look at it from an educational point of view, I think it might be just a little more difficult for a school like Drexel to maybe be able to bring the players in from the outside areas, because of the situation. It's a 5-year program at Drexel with the year of co-op, and yeah, the way the world is now, you want to get your education, say bye-bye, and get out and go to work and make your fortune, sort of like you have done. Let me $1, by the way, before we leave.
Always got a handout.
$1 here, $1 there, it all adds up. But I think that's definitely one of the reasons that they're not able to or want to go out of the area to recruit as heavily.
Vern Briggs has the ball. Now gives it up to Ryan Taylor.
Somebody's going to have to get a move on. They trailed by a trio of goals here.
Taylor got a shot off, but it never got through to the keeper, Salters. Gray tries to come back with it. Briggs fighting for it for Pennsylvania. And now picked up by Lagator. Swings it to the other side. Crofton, who's already got the hat trick, moves in front. Looking for an opening and fires it home. That was a bullet. And the fourth goal of the day for Andy Crofton. And right now, the freshman from Garden City is keeping Pennsylvania in it all by himself.
I'll tell you, he is quick and he is slick. He was able to work himself free on that left side, got the ball, and when he did, he made one motion and just drilled it by goalkeeper Jed Salter, and Pennsylvania has now come within 2 with still lots of time on the clock at 8:24. And mark that name down, Andy Crofton, as a future star for the University of Pennsylvania for 3 more years. He is really slick and quick.
Drexel controls the face-off. Toby Hinkle with the ball for the Dragons. Guarded very closely by Mike Tobin, and then he controlled it, got it back to Gray, and Gray had some trouble, but scoops it up. The Dragons set things up.
The Dragons are going to be in a big hurry to advance this. If they can run 45, 50 seconds off the clock, Pennsylvania's not going to let them. They're going to make them force the play.
Gray tried to get it in front. Tobin was there for Pennsylvania. He loses it. Fink can't pick it up for Drexel. And back come the Quakers. This will be E.J. Youngling on offense. Cuts inside of Romeo. He's free, and a good save by Salter. As Romeo got caught going the wrong way, and E.J. Youngling did a good job to free himself up for the shot.
Youngling showed another reason why Pennsylvania has this great speed, is he was able to get away from the Drexel defender. And you might think Drexel's getting a little tired now, John. They've only got 22 players dressed, and Pennsylvania's 40, and you got to think they're wearing down some out there.
Brandreth.
Nonetheless, no matter how this comes out, you've really got to admire what Drexel has done here today.
Andy Greenberg takes the ball away for Pennsylvania. Quakers down 2. Greenberg guns it. And he brings up within 1. Greenberg with his second goal of the day. Salter looked like he never even saw it.
That coming from about 15 to 18 yards out, and he just fired it over Salter's shoulder, over the left shoulder, and all Salter could do was kind of look and see the bulge of the net. And Pennsylvania, who were down 3 goals, have now come within 1 with still lots of time. 6 minutes, 53 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter.
6:53 to go, and a timeout on the field as Pennsylvania has scored the last 2 goals, and maybe something we talked about, maybe Drexel is getting a little bit weary.
Could be, and now this, by Pennsylvania taking a timeout here, actually works to Drexel's advantage because they will get a minute's rest. Each team is allowed 2 timeouts per half, and some of the Drexel players just lagging getting over to that huddle on the far side, and this coming into the huddle is Mike Tuig, who has been limping around now for the last minute and a half out on the field.
And for your Randy Boyd, that's something you don't want. He's your best defender. You need him to be active and to be able to move around well when you're trying to protect the lead.
Still a lot of time to go here, and as we mentioned, one of the problems that have beset the Dragons during the season is that they give up a lot of goals in clumps. And now they've given up a pair here and saw a 3-goal lead dissipate into a 1-goal lead. But Drexel has come out, just when you say, hey, you know, the churn the other way, and then next thing you know, they're on the scoreboard and right back in and holding a commanding advantage. That's going to be a very important face-off. As we mentioned earlier, Drexel had won the first 4 face-offs of this fourth quarter. Pennsylvania came back to win the last one. This is going to be an important one.
It'll be Cava against Gelbard. Cava has done a good job against Gelbard. Gelbard controlled the face-offs for the most part in the first half, and here in the second half, Drexel has done a good job of it. That's how the Dragons got out to that 3-goal lead.
See them battling there. Boy, they in close quarters battling for that ball. Still no advantage, and finally Pennsylvania comes up with it.
Nobody knows where the ball is. It's loose, and Tobin picks it up. Ball squirted free, and everybody was still looking on the ground for it, and it was off above their heads. Tobin swings it to Andy Crofton. What a day the freshman has had as he heads behind the net as the Quakers set up to look for the equalizer.
Thanks for our good camera work, you got an idea to see what the face-off men actually have to go through there. Not easy.
A lot of spit and mud down there. Goodman and Crofton play catch. Crofton swings it to the other side. They bring it out high now to Ryan Taylor, who has just 1 goal on the day. He came into the 25. Wide open, Greenberg, gunned high, and Salter's got to stick up to make the save.
Andy Greenberg might have waited just a little too long before releasing that ball, John.
Christie comes back. He's whacked at by Greenberg, but he's in front of it. The long stick of the shot goes wide. Clank after it, so is Bassford. And Drexel will bring it in as Clank was a little bit closer when it went over the end line. 5:52 to go, and the Dragons by a goal.
Steve Bassford showing he can move even with that extra goalkeeper's equipment on him. Has the big belly pad and really not really coordinated when you're running with that belly pad. Somewhat similar to a catcher's chest protector. Clock's on the move. We're under 6 minutes.
Nick forgot the ball as Phillips checked it away from him. Lost it again, but picks it up again.
Phillips using that long stick to good advantage.
Heckner. Rich Heckner, a sophomore from Bel Air, Maryland.
Pennsylvania trying to keep that doorstep clear, the center of the field clear as well.
Take for the ball. Lollygags out high, gives it to Heckner. Heckner will head behind the net. Gives it up to Clank. Clank, worked over by RCC as he tries to pull his way in front. Hop shot. Goes behind the net. The loose ball is scooped up by Tony Souza. Ticking down towards 5 minutes to go in regulation. The Dragons leading by a goal. Brandreth tries to bring himself up. The shot never got through as it was knocked down in front. Heckner stopped a clearing pass, and that was picked up by Tobin. Given ahead to Ryan Taylor. He cannot control. Taylor goes down and is picked up by the Dragons. Heckner. Heckner lost it. Souza's got it for Drexel from his knees. He fires it ahead to Brandreth. Tries to go behind the net, and a good job by Bassford to stop that pass intended for Toby Hinkle.
Yeah, Brandreth got a lot of steam on that shot as he was off balance when he let the ball go as well.
Goodman gets it behind to Youngling. They swing it to, I believe that's Curry. Pardon me, that's CC Lagator. And now Goodman with the ball out high. Goodman tries to spin. Gives it up. Shot bounced home. And I believe that will go to Greenberg. If so, it's the hat trick. Give it to Andy Greenberg, the equalizer. He has scored a couple of quick goals, and with 4:04 to go, Pennsylvania is back into this one. G.W. Mix's team has tied it at 10.
Andy Greenberg got some room, bounced the ball about 5 feet in front of Salter. You see right there, and into the net it goes. And we are tied at 10, and Drexel has seen a 3-goal lead go by the boards. And the Quakers have tied it up here with 4 minutes and 4 seconds to go. Quakers' last 2 games have been 1-goal games, and boy, this might be winding down to yet another.
Face off. Still loose. loose and now controlled by Penn's Mike Tobin. Behind the net, E.J. Youngling with the ball for Pennsylvania. Gives it up to Andy Crofton on the right wing. Guarded by Costalis. Back behind.
Drexel now in a deep defensive mode here. They don't want to let another one on the Pennsylvania side of the scoreboard.
Ryan Taylor off the bench. Looking for an open, goes left hand. It's loose in front. Crofton the shot. Big save, Salter. As freshman Crofton was right on the doorstep, and Salter came up big to keep this game tied at 10. 3:20 to go. Back come the Dragons. Brandon Bates with the ball as he heads towards the 20-yard line. Gives it behind to Eric Fink. Fink trying to come out in front of the net. Guarded closely by Vern Briggs. Souza gives it back to Fink.
Down to 3 minutes here.
Pardon me, that's not Briggs on the defense. That's Tobin. The timeout is called by Drexel with 3:02 to go. As Klein heads to the bench, and the sun continues to shine in on Drexel Field. The Dragons have to be very happy that they've hung in this long, but now they've got to get the W. They've only got one win this year. This is a win Drexel needs if they want to keep this thing going, get this thing steamrolling a little bit. For Pennsylvania, they're also a young team trying to build some confidence, and this would be a devastating loss, I would think, for GW Mix's troops.
Of course, the way you look at the way these two teams have battled back and forth here today, it's almost a shame that anybody is going to have to lose this, but there will be a decided winner. Now, you're saying if the clock goes down to 0-0-0, we're tied at 10, what happens? Well, there's a sudden death overtime. The teams play periods of 4 minutes until a goal is scored. Same thing happened for the Quakers on Saturday. They tied the game late against the Big Green of Dartmouth, and then just about a minute into the overtime, won the game there. So we will have a definite winner before we leave here today.
Ryan Taylor has been pretty much shut down by the Dragons. They've guarded him for the most part with Joe Christie. He's only got 1 goal today. He had 25 coming in. He's got to be feeling a little bit of pressure to step up right now.
Well, I think so too, but I think right now what they're probably going to see is that they're emphasizing defense over there right now. You don't want to give one up, but at the same time, you want to keep in the back of your mind in order, somebody's got to put the ball in the net, and I think it's guys like Taylor and Eric Fink are the guys who are really going to bear watching here for Pennsylvania and Drexel respectively as we go into the last 3 minutes and 2 seconds.
Certainly don't forget Andy Crofton for Pennsylvania. He's had a fabulous day. 4 goals so far. Andy Greenberg's got 3 for Pennsylvania. And Fink's got 4 for Drexel.
See the sunglasses out on this bright sunny day. As people enjoying this, what I think is probably the most marvelous day of the spring thus far.
Working on the tans?
Well, not yet.
McAdams likes to build up to those things slowly.
Very slowly.
Fink looking for a hole. Now comes out in front, score!
Oh, what a move as he cut the corner and beat the defender. And Drexel now moves up by a goal as he beat Tony Phillips on that play. Watch him cut that corner right now.
He used the net as a pick almost, and Phillips couldn't get at him because the net was in his way. Eric Fink with 5 goals on the day, 25 for the season, and Drexel now only has to hold on for 244. That's a long time to hold on, though.
Might be easier said than done. Now, a very important face-off now, and Drexel's controlled most of them. Now, watch the intensity here on this face-off. Watch these two guys go at it. Referee blows the whistle. There they go. Look at that control.
Trying to find some traction. Gelbard and Bates. Pardon me, that was Kava for Drexel. The ball squirts free and all the way in on Bassford.
Clock ticking down to 2:30 and counting. Quakers need a goal.
Penn feeling a little more frantic right now. Sue gives it up to Youngling, and now behind the net they go to C.C. Lagator.
Those tired legs of the Drexel defenders are just going to have to bear up underneath it here for another 2 minutes and 8 seconds. They're protecting a slim 1-goal lead.
Vern Briggs, who has not scored a goal today, he came in as the 2nd leading scorer for the Quakers. Gives it up to Goodman here. Goodman's got an opening, bounces it. It went off of Lagator. After it is Greenberg, and Greenberg closest to Drexel shorthanded for about 3 seconds there as Costello is now back into play. Crofton goes behind the net. Youngling trying to come out in front. They give it up high to Ryan Taylor, the main man. Taylor moves to the left, fires a shot, big save, Salter. It's loose in front, and Salter gobbles up the rebound. 1:20 to go.
And what a great save after the giveaway, and Drexel almost gave the ball away again.
Dewey comes near side to Costello. Costello looking to gun it the length of the field and use up some clock. It bounces down in front of the net. Loose. Sousa's there for Drexel, but it's picked up by Tobin, and he's able to get it to Greenberg with 1 minute to go exactly. Greenberg brings it over midfield. Quakers down by 1. They need a goal. Crofton's got 4 of them so far today. He's working on 2 behind the net. Quakers setting things up. Out high. Goodman's got it, looking to get it to Taylor, and now gives it to him. Ryan Taylor, the senior from Berkeley, California, moves in, shot. Big save, Salter. Salter covers the rebound. 35 seconds to go. Things looking good for the Dragons.
Boy, did Salter ever read that shot perfectly.
Kava gives it to a wide-open Susie in front. He can't handle it. And this is last chance opportunity now for Pennsylvania as the loose ball picked up by the Quakers. 17 seconds to go.
They're going to get another opportunity out of here, John.
Moving in is Greenberg, looking for someone in front. Youngling is there. The pass comes out to Taylor. Jump, shoots over the top of the net. Pennsylvania will have possession with just 3 seconds to go when the clock stopped there. And now you're in a desperation type of play mode. And the Quakers will call timeout. GW Knicks will try to set something up. This is like basketball where you have to pretty much throw the ball at the rim or the net in this case and try and slam dunk it home.
Well, that ball is going to come in from behind the net. Is where the ball will be placed. And if you can see down behind the net, and making the ball is laying in the grass exactly where it's going to come in, almost directly behind the Drexel goal. So what they've got to do, most likely be a long stick back there to throw it in, and they're just going to have to crowd that net and hope for one solid opportunity. And boy, again, I see going off there Mike Tuig, who has played the last, I would say, 12 minutes of this fourth quarter, John, just limping badly. And I'll tell you, with 3 seconds left, he's not going off. What a great win this would be if Drexel can hang on. And the other end of the coin got to be very disappointing for Pennsylvania, too, plus the fact they know, too, that if they come out of a short end of this, they've got to suck it up because they've got a game in less than 24 hours with the Bison of Bucknell. We're always a very, very physical lacrosse team.
If you're Drexel now, do you bother to guard the player who's bringing it in? 3 seconds. I don't think he can make the mad dash to the net in that short a period of time.
I put a guy on him. You saw what happened at the end of the first half when they, Pennsylvania left the Drexel player unguarded behind the net.
Yeah, but with just 3 seconds, can he get to the net?
Well,
Calculated risk. Like to have the extra defender in front if he can do it.
you don't know if it's 3.9 seconds. You don't know how much time is in that clock. I think you've got to challenge it, and Drexel is going to challenge it.
Crofton will bring it in. The man on him is Christie. In front, and that'll do it. The Quakers never get a shot off, and Drexel pulls the upset thanks to some stalwart goaltending from Jed Salter. 11-10 Dragons. We're back in a minute to wrap up a stunning upset.
My Uncle Ernie loves the Phillies, but he's such a lousy driver, he could never make it to the vet to see him play. He even got his insurance.
The stunned Penn Quakers shake the hands of the victors. The Drexel Dragons beat Pennsylvania for the first time since 1959. 11-10, the Dragons pull the upset. The winning goal scored by Eric Fink with 2:44 to go, and Fink had an awesome game.
5 goals he had on the afternoon. He now has a total of 25 on the season, but none bigger than the one he got just under 3 minutes to go in this game. And then Drexel, who really turned up the heat defensively. I really think, John, and I know I've said this a couple times, but I think what really was the key to this fourth quarter was those 4 face-offs that the Dragons won at the beginning of the quarter. In particular, the one to start the fourth quarter, they went down and scored within 8 seconds. They saw a 3-goal lead dissipate. They had a 10-7 lead. and they saw it go away. They hung right in there, and Randy Boyd's team did a great job today. A very, very big win for them, and got to be a little disappointing for the Quakers as they will head back home, losing here by a goal. But again, they know they've got to get ready for a very physical game with Bucknell in less than 24 hours.
Very young team for GWMX. He's probably not very happy with them right now, but he does have to be happy with one of the youngsters, Andy Crofton. Very impressive.
Just a magician out there with that stick. He got 4 goals this afternoon. Just a freshman, did a great job. Let's also, some kudos go to Andy Greenberg, who he had 3 goals for the Quakers today, a goal each for Ryan Taylor, Jason McLean, and E.J. Youngling. Rounding out the scoring for the Dragons, we told you Eric Fink had 5, Brandon Bates had 2, Matt Clank had 2, Tony Souza had 1, Dan Gray had 1. But I'll tell you, Jed Salter in the nets was able to anticipate so much that he really, fine goalkeeper. I'll tell you, if you were picking stars of the game, he definitely has to be one of the 3, no 2 ways about it.
Big game for Salter and a big game for Drexel. They beat Pennsylvania for the first time in 34 years. Dragons 11, Quakers 10. For John McAdams, I'm John Miller. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.